Hi, my name is Noel Davis with World Composting, and today I want to talk about the BTI mix that I've been adding to all of my bins. So if you've been watching my videos over the last couple weeks, I've had this fruit fly issue and fungus gnat issue that I've started to see crop up, and I've been adding some things to my bins if you really watch these videos, and that is a bucket that has a water in it along with a BTI mix. Now, what that is I'm adding these right here, these dunks, to a bucket, and I'll show you here in a minute, but I have this dunk in a bucket with water in it, and that's what I'm adding to the bin, is this water from the bucket that has this dunks in it. So that's supposed to help kill larvae that's in your system. Now, I've also shown in the past, make sure I'm holding it upright, these mosquito bits, and these do work probably just the same way. I think it's even the same company and everything. The only thing is, these have granulars, these granular pellets in it, and these don't dissolve quite as well, and for some reason what I've noticed is that these can also clog up my sprayers. So that's why I've switched over to this system right here of using these dunks. They actually sit in the bucket. They work really well as far as dissolving, but at the same time, I'm not overwhelming some sprayer I'm using or something, and I've been dumping it, which is a lot easier, but instead of dumping some of these in a container and then doing that, I've been just dumping the stuff from the dunks. Now, the other thing is the fact that, well, I do have these linked down below, by the way, from Amazon. I think they're cheaper than up here where I bought them, which was, I think, Wild Birds Unlimited was the store that I bought them on. They were like 15 bucks because we had some bird feeders around the house, and they were starting to build up with mosquito larvae. And they do work really well for getting rid of that. I know that they work. These are supposed to be organic. I can't speak for this company, but this is a bacteria, or sort of something that attacks these larvae for mosquitoes and fungus gnats. So they're not supposed to be toxic. In fact, according to the US EPA website, they actually are safe. As I said, I can't speak for this brand specifically, but they're supposed to be safe for organic gardening, which to me is a good sign. So that's why I'm using them in my worm bins. But let me show you the bucket system that I'm using and what I'm doing to make this easier for me. Because before I was mixing this like every single time. Like I'd be like, all right, well, I need to dump this in some water, and then I need to let it sit in the sprayer, and I'd have to wait. And I was like, why am I going through all this trouble? This seems like a lot of work to do that. So I basically started using another system based off the recommendations that you, the viewers, have given me, with the fact of saying, oh, I had one of those in my tub outside, and I grabbed some water and I dumped it in my bin, and then all of a sudden the fungus gnats were gone. I was like, I should be doing something similar. So let me show you what I'm doing. All right, as you can see here, this is just a standard Home Depot 5-gallon bucket. Doesn't have to be Home Depot. This just happens to be the place where I get a lot of my buckets from when I do need them. But as you can see, I've got water in here about halfway probably filled up on here. It might be hard to tell, but it's about halfway. I've got one of these dunks in here. They can see that they change color when they're thrown in to this dark color as they start having that moisture come off. But all I do is I'm taking this container that I've shown in all my videos, filling this up with water, dumping it on my bins, and then as this gets low, and right now, as I said, it's about halfway, I just pour in water. Now, when I pour in the water, I'm trying to make a lot of disturb the water a lot to make sure everything gets sort of distributed. And you can see this is not coming apart. There's a couple little pieces maybe that have flaked off, but not a whole lot, which is what I like about this this material. So there we go. This is pretty full now. This is probably 3/4 of the way full, as I just added another gallon. And this is how I have been running my mosquito dunks here in a bucket with water to add to my bins. And this is the best way I felt it works. This means that whatever microbial material is in here, or bacteria that's in here that's supposed to go out into the water and eat larvae, there's no food for them in here, but at the same time, as soon as I dish out this water into one of my bins, now they have the food that's missing, hopefully, in those systems, or I should say hopefully not by this point, but anything that gets in that system, they're hopefully going to attack it, and this should be perfectly fine for the worms. It should be perfectly fine for using in my garden. Do not drink this water. This is not potable water anymore. Do not drink it. No drinking, okay? And it says it on here on these warnings. It says this is not to be used with that. When I'm also touching these, I do wear gloves. I don't use gloves as I'm dipping into the water here. I figure, it says you can use this in pools and stuff like that if they're not in use. It's not supposed to be harmful, but I'm pretty careful. I try not to, like, whenever I'm reaching in here, I don't put this all the way in and soak my hand. I kind of fill it up, pull it out, and then I move it off to the side, and I keep it on this on the lid, so that way it doesn't drip everywhere as well. But I try not, I'm not like dipping my hand in there and like, you know, mixing it around or anything like that. So, but this is the system I'm using to add this material to my bins, or I should say the water to the bins, but also as a new method instead of using my sprayer, but also as a way to get this bacteria into my system, so that way we can hopefully get rid of any fruit flies or fungus gnats. Now, I have not seen too many fruit flies. Every once in a while I see one. They have really dissipated. Fungus gnats, as soon as I started using this, they disappeared. These little tiny black flies, I'm almost guaranteed they were not fruit flies. They had to have been fungus gnats. But as soon as I started adding this to my bins, they were gone. And this is supposed to be work on fungus gnats. So, and by the way, this is also right here, actually says for organic production. So you can see, actually, this one does say it. I don't think this one says it on here, though. So this one doesn't say, I don't see it on here for saying for organic production. So for the mosquito bits, no, but for these mosquito dunks, it does say for organic. So there you go. That's what I'm doing. Although these are made by the same company, I think these work really well. I know that they do work to kill mosquitoes because I do have mosquitoes in my, as some of the containers, as I said, bird baths, but also we have a basketball hoop outside that's filled with water, and the plug's missing. We've seen mosquitoes floating around in there like crazy, you know, the larvae. This does get rid of them very quickly. So thank you for watching. If you have questions, please let me know. Again, these are available on both these, whichever one you want to use, are on Amazon links down below, and that does help me out. They are affiliate links. And if you have questions about this, or you have other suggestions, as I said, this suggestion right here came from my viewers. I'd never thought to do this. I saw other people taking a hammer to these and breaking them up, or using these and throwing them in their bins as suggestions, but I'd never heard of anybody doing this on purpose, like doing this as a system like this. It was always like, oh, I took some water that they were sitting in and added it to my bins, and then I found there's no fruit flies and no fungus gnats. I'm like, this might be a better way to do it. It gets everything moving before you add it. So just as a suggestion, and this is now what I'm doing in my system, so let me know what you think. And if you have any, as I said, more suggestions are always welcome. I love hearing what you have to say, because while I do this a lot, you can overlook simple things like this, like adding this to the water and then using the water from here. That's a simple trick that I probably could have learned had I just thought about it. But you know, you don't always think of everything when you're on the fly. So thank you everyone that made the suggestion, and thank you for watching my videos.